Thank you. So, welcome to the full council meeting at Thetford Town Council. It's the 18th of December, starting now at 7 p.m. And we'll start with welcome everybody, both councillors and guests. We'll start with the agenda. 314/25. All for absence. Any to note? Yes, he's getting there. Oh, he's getting it. That's some.
Apologies from Councillor Reckborn. Evans. Hartley.
Thank you for that. 315/25. Declaration of undisclosed pecuniary interests. Feel free to disclose any regarding the agenda for today, or if there's something that comes up along the way as we go through the agenda, please let us know. Yeah, Councillor Peters.
I'm not certain that it's a pecuniary, it's certainly a non-pecuniary interest, but on the item 327/25, when we're dealing with the RBL club below the line, I'm actually dealing in committee with two groups that have made applications, but obviously I've got some interest in the item, but I feel I have to declare it in case there is a conflict.
So non-pecuniary interests. Right, noted. Thank you. Moving along, 316/25 is our public participation, and I'll read a small notice regarding our public participation. I'd like to remind everyone, this is a meeting held in public, not a public meeting. My expectation as a mayor is that we conduct ourselves respectfully so the council can carry out its democratic business efficiently. Within public participation, we have 15 minutes in total. Each person has up to 3 minutes, and that time includes any background or context if you wish to give. Please ensure your question is within that limit. If the time expires, I'll ask you to take a seat. Your questions relate to housing, council tax, or immigration. These are not matters for the town council. Please direct those inquiries to Breckland District Town Council or to your local MP. Councillors also serve in Breckland will only respond to town council matters during this meeting. And if you wish to raise a district issue with them, please do so outside of the meeting. Thank you. So, questions from the public. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment? Yes, sir. If you could just state your name and your question, please.
My name is Philip Atkinson. I just want to congratulate the council for such an outstanding Christmas lights switch on over this morning. The number of people there, the actual entertainment and everything else, obviously goes to your credit to yourselves for such hard work. Coupled with the earlier on in the year, it really is a credit to Thetford, so thank you for that. And if there's a question I could ask, what is in the pipeline for 2026, the top 2025? I appreciate that's going to be difficult.
Thanks for your feedback. It's appreciated in your question. Now, for 2026, what do we have? Work? Any answers?
You're a bit preemptive. I've got a meeting on Monday with the Heritage and Events Manager, but from what I know so far, we're doing a big summer event at Melford Common. We've got to do another Christmas lights event, and we've got to expand it into further down the high street. So we've got to bring in more shops into that. And we've got some summer events, sort of like beach events, happening outside in August on the marketplace. And then we've got our usual remembrance and other little events. Father Christmas again, we've got that event. So that's what we're proposing so far. But I'll have an updated list on Monday.
I'll watch this space. I think things will come along as they get resolved. There'll be something to do in 26, I'm sure. Any more questions from the public? No? I guess that's all. Then we can start on the formal agenda then. Thank you. So 317/25, the minutes. To confirm the minutes of the full council meeting that was held on the 25th of November as to record and to be signed. So it's to agree the minutes from last meeting. Do we have proposal? Yes?
Can I?
Well, I can make a comment.
Yeah. On the comment, which is very eccentric, I apologise, but I send my apologies for that meeting. I'm not noted on the minutes as apologise.
I think the apologies for that meeting. I'm missing. Is that it? I couldn't really hear.
So I send my apologies for last council meeting, and they're not noted on the minutes.
Included, noted. Thank you. Councillor Rossman. Yeah, say it, May. Is that my apologies? I'm not noted. No, not on off, not it. We'll look into it. Thanks so much for letting us know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll sort it out. Thanks so much. Any more comments regarding the minutes? Do we approve the meetings? Everybody in agreement? Yes. I raise your hands, yes. Thank you very much. Of course, I agree. And those, no, I'm sorry, that's fine. Do what I did. Okay. Moving on. 31825, town council representatives from other bodies in town council. Is there any boards to note other representatives? We'll go around the table if there's any around here. No? Councillor Land, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I attended a Marshall meeting a couple of weeks ago. We had the Richard from the North County Council development officer, and we were talking about education and asked about section 1 school on Kingsfleet. According to Mr. Dolman, all schools in Thetford are currently undersubscribed except for Drake. The county's position will be revised in 2029 regarding a trigger point for a new school, with section 106 money to be held in that decision. I then asked about further SEN provision given the cost of busing children across the county and was told it's a possibility. Regarding the strategic urban extension, I asked again about traffic in and out of the site along Norwich Road and Mumford Road. Wasn't given a commitment on that. I think there is a problem, particularly on Norwich Road, with the prospect of lorries. At Fort School, Breckland on 4th of December, our councillor Helen Crane, member of cabinet with responsibility for the environment for health, regarding the ongoing spate of dog attacks on Barn Common. Unfortunately, there are a small group of dog owners who think it's acceptable to allow their pets to attack sheep, with the result we've had 1 ram, 6 ewes killed since March. As a former farmer herself, Councillor Crane was very aware of the horror of these attacks and the trauma suffered by our grazier, who was keen to help. Very grateful for her intervention, and she is working with her team,
You Councillor Land, just go around. Anybody on this side to this report? Councillor Thetford,
Hello, thank you. It's my pleasure and Councillor Brindle's pleasure to serve on the board for the Charlesborough Centre. At the last meeting, I was incredibly honoured to be nominated as the new chair of the board for the Charlesborough Centre, working along the vice chair, Dave Hodgkinson. Hopefully we're going to work really well together, fingers crossed, and push the centre forward in a fantastic way. I'd love to commend the centre. They had their Christmas community dinner yesterday, which was a roaring success, where they provide a free Christmas dinner catered by one of the tenants at the centre. There was a raffle. It was a really great community spirit, and again, all put on by the incredible hard work of the staff there. On top of that, we had our roaring success every year now. This is of the Santa's Grotto on the stage. Again, the hall at the centre looked fantastic, and that was done by the staff and with some incredibly generous donations over the years, and some recent ones that we've received. The centre's looking fantastic. So again, if anyone ever manages to get some free time, I recommend going to the centre. It looks really fantastic at Christmas time. Thank you.
Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Mayor. I was a bit slow on the hand, Governor.
Still done.
Just from Safety Thetford Action Group perspective, there was a meeting on the 15th of December. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend at the last minute. However, topics of the moment are the CCTV coverage over the town, some funding that we're looking to achieve, and I'm sure that our Deputy Mayor can speak on that. But also items such as radios for shop watch, and this is all about trying to enhance old projects that were kind of fell by the wayside, just to help the community a little bit more. And that all leads into police meetings, which still occur And the next one is due on the 7th of January at Munford Bowls Club. If you can't make it there, then the next one after that is the 7th of April in this room, and that's at 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor MacDonald. Any more of the councillors? Councillor Shifton?
Thanks. And it was just an update on my position on the Charles Borough Museum board. Obviously, Charles Borough Museum is now closed down for the season, but there's been an event for the volunteers to thank them for the fantastic hard work they've done over the last year. I'd also like to say, and it possibly ties into what we will end up talking about later, that the Charles Borough Museum have been looking at how they can get funding to help support the building and taking some lessons I think that we've learned in our own National Lottery Heritage Fund bid. Apologies for that. But yeah, so we're pursuing those opportunities as well to ensure that the building has a long-term future and hopefully as part of the town council's, which we'll talk about later.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Stewart? Right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just following up on Councillor Landline to attend the Great Thetford Partnership meeting, and the matter response to the traffic flows was a reaction to the question that we had posed at a previous meeting. And it seems that the two phases nearest the bypass will have heavy goods traffic entering the site, coming down Bunton Road to turn left and then coming along to Norwich Road, so it doesn't have right-hand turns coming from the Norwich Road end. Obviously, that does put a lot of heavy goods traffic going down along the Norwich Road. We initially thought, Councillor MacDonald pointed it to me quite a while back, that it was coming down the Norwich Road to turn around and come back. It's not going to be routing down the Munford Road and coming in that way, but very little they can do because they're right-hand turns. They don't want to back the traffic out to the bypass. And also the school situation, it was such that I don't see that site being coming to fruition anytime soon at all. The born birth rates and the actual rate of completions on King Street site means that there won't be the demand there in the end to medium future, but the site is still safeguarded, and as Councillor Land pointed out, the options for second provision is something that is being considered, but maybe not necessarily. Separately, obviously, I'm chair of the board of the Thetford Trust, which met last night and approved the annual accounts in March. We obviously did feedback to the last meeting that the financial situation of Stanhope Trust is not a great situation. The board continues to look at savings in terms of the running costs, both in terms of gardening and maintenance. We are eating into that. However, there's still a heavy deficit there, and with the recent survey of the building, it means that there's a lot of need for investment into that. The board has asked for a bit of priority to be given to funding bids in the early part of next year to see what is available there to help in terms of the, as you know, the maintenance of the building to bring it up to standard, and the further issues being identified every time we meet. So keep you informed, but obviously anybody who wishes to see the reports, and they are available for any councillor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Anyone at the table? No? About our guest, do we have any councillors sitting in the other bodies that would like to report on anything? Yes, sir. Go ahead. It's all right, not a problem. Thank you so much. Right, we'll move along then. Thank you. 3195, this is my meeting. I think it's already all included in the bag. It's been a busy month. After running up to Christmas, it's always busy. Loads of events, loads of gatherings. So I wanted to also my energy may of course, filling in on when I'm not available, can't be everywhere. They've done a lovely job representing us in a few places as well. I'll just mention mostly there the Thetford Music Project concert. It was great. It was really intense. I sit on as a council and representative on their board for a while now. It's actually really nice to see the children come out, play their instruments, sing together, and see all the parents, see all the families gathering there, and they get me for their concert. It was a lovely concert, and I think they've done really, really well. The other thing that I was asked just very briefly to mention, I attended the Norwich Road School just yesterday, the Christmas gathering as well with the children. And the principal has passed word that they are looking for trustees for their board of governors. So community members that want to join the school trustee board, as they are really looking for people to join them. She did give me some leaflets with with some instructions and a little bit of the contacts for it. If anybody feels like they want to join and help out the school by be a trustee, feel free to contact them or let me know and I'll give you a leaflet and you guys can then be in touch with the school. Be great if somebody was able to do it, or you can pass word to other people that might be able to do it. Councillor Jefferson.
Like I might just mention that I'm government. It is Thetford Road, so if you do have any interest, please feel free to reach out to me as well.
Well, then noted. It goes for both then. Very well, thank you. I think we'll move on. So 2025. Report. Oh, sorry, town clerk. I bet town clerk report, that would be her. Yes, clerk.
Thank you. This report is intended as a strategic progress update, showing how current projects and activity align with the council's adopted realising Thetford potential priorities. As you can see, it covers a broad range of work from infrastructure, governance, heritage, environment, and community support. Overall, this report demonstrates steady delivery rather than decision-making. Where future decisions are required, those will come back to council in separate reports. Do I have any questions?
I guess not. Silence across the board, so that's good. All good. We'll move along then. Okay. Thank you. 321, 25 writing place board update, and that is regarding the board update, which was a former neighborhood board. Councillor.
Firstly, I need to apologise for not getting this out as a written report, so it is a verbal report. Went to the Pride of Place Board meeting on the 27th of November. That was just 2 days after full council. We had a representation from Norfolk County Council, read a walking cycling plan, and I'm very pleased to note that under the plan, the feasibility study for the London Road crossing has been allocated a budget. They haven't yet agreed it or allocated a budget for the crossing, but the feasibility study is a great step forward. And also they revealed that some money is being put in to create the walking cycling route that would go through town, open up the river corridor and possibly go up to High Lodge, which is all positive. And that would be as a joint enterprise with Forestry Commission and Suffolk County Council. We also had a very interesting presentation about the health provision within Thetford, which highlighted many of the problems we see. There is more to come on this. There was no funding applications or anything like that, but it's highlighted some of the areas that the board might be able to help with, but nothing specific. It did mention the possibility that we could get a form of a walking centre that the town has desperately needed for a long time. And if it becomes reality, would alleviate a lot of the pressures for the frontline medical services to deliver better health outcomes for the community. It was reported that the 4-year and 10-year plan have now been submitted to the government for approval. And the committee also reported on the criteria for grant funding, which has been put in place to help charitable and community organisations to become more sustainable. This was originally going to be a 3-year thing. It's now down to 1 year. There's £50,000 allocated for 1 year. They're looking at it as an initial thing, and then they're looking to continue for the following 2 years, and then possibly extending that afterward. The idea is that community groups, charities that are already in operation They're all struggling, and it's looking to put some of the money in to these organisations to make them more sustainable and to keep them running, because they are a very important part of the fabric of the community. There was some initial discord over who would run it. I won't go into the details, but after some very good interventions, it was agreed that the NCF is actually going to handle the paperwork, and there'll be a small committee that actually looks at the grants, and the two members of that committee that was put on that would be Jane James and myself, and we'll go through the applications. The fund will be launched in January, and the application process will be open for about 4 weeks, and there will be 3 application windows in the first year. All the information on this can be found in the minutes that are published on Breckland Council, by Breckland Council. My own report was submitted for the subcommittee, which I chair, was submitted to the council at the last meeting, and I haven't presented another one really since, because the next meeting is in January. But since that report was given, I've continued with the youth engagement, and we're looking to launch Thetford as a town social engagement in the near future. The initial date is January the 22nd, but that depends on a few things coming together. And I'm looking at the possibility of tying up some of the stuff that we've come out of the engagement with some of the town events, which it's like a partnership, and it could possibly reduce the cost of some of the events to the town council while demonstrating good partnership working and having more quality events for the community. And again, this depends on a few things coming together. I also spoke on a proposal which Matt was on about earlier that we're working on with Stag, that we plan to put to the board for some support. This is around upgrading the town's CCTV and getting it fully monitored, and the partnership radio scheme. The project will, however, need full partnership working with the police, who are keen to do it, but they haven't yet sought any funding. With Breckland, who own the cameras, and we would be looking at funding from them as well. And the board possibly doing a little support, and the community of Thetford, who will be needed to operate the radios and stuff like that. And if anyone wants to know about partnership radios, Mac or myself can fill you in with that outside. We don't need to go there. I don't know if this is going to be successful, but it's felt that we need to try. It's a key thing that's come out of the fund thing with the consultations. Safety was one of the key elements, and it is one of the 6 that we're putting money towards. So I will be keen to work with the police, Breckland, to get them a presentation to put together that would help get that working. It works in Kings Lynn because they actually pay for the monitoring. There's no reason why the board couldn't support us with that and the police. I think I'll leave the other bit because it's a bit controversial. No, I'm not actually. This bit wasn't going to be in my report. It was just going to be a word of thing. I did make a representation to the chair of the board, because at the board meeting, we, Thetford Town Council, agreed that we would hold back on some of the comms to let it all be a team effort with Thetford Town Council, the board, and promoting everything that's gone on, certainly with St Peter's Church. It turns out that Breckland did not stick with their agreement as we have, and I basically complained to the chair about some of the content there. The stuff they've put out basically promotes their part, didn't mention the board, didn't mention any of the town stuff, just what they were doing, and some of it was actually paid for by the board, not them, and it was a little bit cheeky. It's been taken on board, and it's going to be monitored. So, yeah, how far we go with that, I don't know, but I think it was a little cheeky, and that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Just, okay. Was there any questions for Councillor Peters on that? No? We'll move along. Thank you. 3/22/25, this progress on actions from previous meeting.
The progress on action sheets is provided to give members a clear overview of work that has been completed. It is ongoing or is scheduled for the coming period. It is intended as a snapshot of delivery against agreed actions rather than a detailed project update. The sheet demonstrates the steady progress across a range of operational, strategic and governance-related actions. Is there any questions?
No questions? No? Yeah, Councillor Jones.
I'm going to try not use the mic because I think Matt didn't use the mic and I could hear him far better than anyone else, frankly. So
It's best.
I could normally check, but if anyone doesn't hear me.
Fair enough.
I do really like the fact that we have a document that records actions. I think it's a good document and we need to be able to track progress. Can I suggest that in the comments on further action, there is a bit more detail? Because there are several lines there where it just says that work is ongoing. If we're to really get the benefit from that document, actually it needs to be a bit more complete and more narrative. Otherwise it's just, lots of lovely colours and, this is great, we're still working on it. Actually, this should be decisions that council makes and progress and needs to be a bit more complete.
Thank you.
Noted, I'll do that.
Very good. Any more comments? No? That's it. Thank you. Bit along, 3/22/25, and that's the Thetford Heritage Trust to review a report relating to the formation of the Heritage Trusts. So we need to agree the sharing on that. Please.
This report has been provided by myself and the GWS clerk, who's working alongside lawyers Batewells to produce a document. It's been agreed that the trust would be better served from the lawyers with more trustees from both the council and independent trustees, with an agreement of 2 more councillors and 2 more independent trustees. This will give the board a total of 10. We're also looking at council agreeing the articles so that the trust can be set up in early next year.
Thank you. It's just a comment rather than a question. Just how obviously amazing our heritage is in Thetford, and it's absolutely something that we should be pushing. This is bold. It's new. It's something that we as a council should be really proud about. Something we should absolutely shout and push. It's fantastic that as the clerk mentioned, we have got a board with skills that people are going to bring to push this forward. It shouldn't just be a council decision. It's our name on it, but it's absolutely a community asset as well. I think it ties in perfectly with the constant talks we have on heritage with the recent bid that was put in for St. Peter's. That's fantastic as well. I think tying everything together and pushing the heritage side of Thetford is really important. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions?
Yep. There's been a lot of work gone into this. I'm very grateful to the clerk and deputy clerk and also the clerk for standing for trust, because you can see from all of the pages that there's been a significant amount of work done. Essentially, if we agree to the recommendations, we give the green light to formally register and create the Heritage Trust. At the moment, it's just in name only. And if we agree to this, then it sort of set the ball rolling. There's no guarantee when that will be, but obviously, we've got to make the decision first and agree to the articles. The articles essentially say this is what the Heritage Trust is going to do, and it's laid out there. As Councillor Stirrup says, it is exciting. I think it is really bold, and the town council is getting a reputation now as an organisation that recognises and celebrates Thetford's heritage. It's long overdue, and we've been making some really good progress, and this is the sort of next phase. The 5 councillor trustees at the moment, it's myself, Councillor Annie Blackburn as chair of the Heritage Committee, Councillor Land as the chair of the Corporate Services Committee. I'd like to propose Councillor Vic Peters and also Councillor Stuart Wright to fill the 2 remaining councillor positions that are required.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Jeremy. Councillor Peters.
I'm going to follow suit. I'm not using the mic either because I think you can do better without it. I'm very keen on this, and I've been right from the start since it was mentioned. But I do think that what we need to be looking at is not just heritage. It is a heritage committee thing, but we also need to be looking. We've got Carnegie, that's the arts, and we also need to be including education where we can. But I mean, that's all what the original setup was all for, and I think we can't lose sight of the arts and education when we do the heritage. So that's just a comment.
Right. Any more comments? Councillor Land, like a minute or no? No, no, never mind. We thought you were coming. Anybody else? Councillor Sherman.
So I just respond to councillor Peters'
Sure.
point there, and I completely agree. And there's some specific wording built into the purposes on page 1 of the articles, and it says in legal speak, but it says to advance any other purposes recognised as charitable under the law of England, including without limitation by preserving, maintaining, restoring and managing the properties known as the Guildhall and Carnegie Complex as an arts, heritage and community centre for the benefit of Thetford and visitors to Thetford and the wider area.
Yeah.
So I think that covers the point about the art really well.
Yeah, just it wasn't in there.
I agree. I also noticed from my quick reading on the reports that part of the reason why the lawyers decided that more councillors, members and even community members was necessary was to have broad of different abilities and qualifications to have an input into the trusts, particularly to have a good show that councillors across the board were, if possible, non-partisan. So, and in that sense, because all 3 members are from one of the parties, it'd be nice to have a balance at the table, which I think would be good. So we have a proposal for the 2 councillors to find. Okay.
I'm happy to propose, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, so we have a proposal for the 2 councillors to be Councillor Peters and Councillor Wright. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We have well, there would be a second because Councillor Jeremy is proposing, Councillor Brindle is seconding, and I will take a vote then on it, if that's okay. Is everybody in agreement? Is there any comments? Everybody in agreement? Show of hands. I think that's unanimous. Well, thank you. Then Councillor Peters and Councillor Wright to the board, if that's okay. Thank you. I think we need to vote if this is in a block. I just wanted to confirm that you are okay with the proposed councillors by Councillor Jeremy mentioned, but we need to vote on agreeing the resolution of the new articles. Then we'll have the 2 more councillors, which we just shows them, so that bit's done. Just agree basically to go ahead with the articles and the new councillors for the new format of that trustee board. Do we have a proposal for the whole? Councillor Peters, a seconder to approve the articles, Councillor Blackburn, and all those in favour then. Thank you very much. It's done. So a bit done, thank you. Right. So 324.25, the operational budget of the year 26-27. So to receive the budget and to approve it. To approve the budget, the preset rate for Band D for the next year. Deputy Town Clerk, do you want to mention?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the 2023 document unlocking Thetford's potential.
Sorry, sorry, Councillor Land. Just wait a minute. I was hoping to hear from Deputy Town Clerk regarding the agenda point, and then I'll let you come in as well.
Thank you. Every time I appear at budget, I don't believe that I can use any more here, but I'm always pretty wrong if I do. In terms of budgets, we've set out a number of key issues in the paper, but I think there are a number of lists that we have to be conscious of, which we as managers are faced with. First one is that we're very reliant on grazing to keep our open spaces under control. As we've mentioned earlier on, our grazers, sheep every now and again get attacked. So that is a major factor that we've had to take into account. It's a major risk that keeps some of us away. The poor state of our buildings is another issue that we've had to take into account.
We focused on bringing in a number of services in-house. We continue to do that. I think some of the councils have previously pointed out that we work Monday to Friday, but we actually bring the services Monday to Sunday. So what we're trying to do is really focus on that and changing the staffing structure continuously, and this budget reinforces that. The establishment of the charity, I've just had that particular agenda item, that is really high risk. So what we've done is taken a very prudent approach and ensured that if that charity, for example, only formed later on in the financial year, we actually don't have a budget on this. We actually should be able to meet our costs and do that particular benefit. And then lastly, I think as management, we're starting to focus on the activity of our staff and our assets. And that's really where we put the more attention. We have talked about some of the staffing issues of the Corporate Services Committee. But what this budget does is increases the preset excluding car park, which I'm going to come to now, from £176.96p to £185.79p, with a 9% increase on a band B. The other key issue that we have done is council agreed to take on car parks. There is additional cost for that, and that additional cost has added a further 5% to the preset. So that the preset basically go up by 9.99%, 4.99% on ongoing operations, and 5% in terms of the additional. And that's it.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. Councillor, what do you think? Sorry.
Thank you. I'll try again. In the 2023 document, Unlocking Thetford's Potential, the first paragraph of the pamphlet declared whole communities have been forgotten. We will prioritise street cleaning and general maintenance of our communities. And in that light, I'm delighted to announce that following our drive to clean up and beautify the town centre, this budget will provide for employing a full-time town team member to work on estates around town to improve all areas. Promise made, promise delivered. This year, we had the unusual circumstance in over 10 cars town by Brecon District Council. This followed an aborted attempt by our same council to charge residents and visitors for the privilege. As a council, we fought hard and long to resist those charges. So when the opportunity arose, we went over residents to a consultation to ask what road ahead, please pardon the pun, they preferred. Overwhelmingly, they were in favour of raising council tax to maintain free parking for residents, visitors and workers across the town. This wasn't accounted for in our current budget, so we've raised the council tax as funding says by 5% and increased costs. In practical terms, this will amount to an increase of something under £9 per year for a Band D household. That sum compares very favourably with the proposed charges for Brecon, which would have penalised residents, it would have driven away visitors and taken a substantial sum from workers' wages. We want to thrive in town, and this gets lots of heart of that desire. We will continue to deliver further policies, such as the Golden Rule for Angler and Blue, a town-wide programme of theirs, including the excellent Christmas light switch of a couple of weeks ago, and our VE Dance. We promised to fund the casework for citizens' advice to bring in six-figure sums to the local economy. That scheme was put in place earlier this year, and I'm delighted to say that it was proven crucial. Even better, we will continue that funding across next year. Antisocial behaviour is a blight. We will continue working with Brecon to provide our highly valued street wardens who provide a reassuring presence across town. In that light, I would like to thank officers, particularly the town clerks on your right and Deputy Alan Newell for their help writing this budget. But when to add a hearty Thetford thank you to all the employees who have brought into our project with what I believe is a genuine and heartwarming partnership. Both our finances and governance are attracting top reviews by auditors. That does not happen by accident. Thanks to efficiency savings, this more for less budget come at a cost of a 4.99% increase on council tax. For a Band D household, that will amount to £8.73 per year. That equates to only a few pennies less than the price of a £4 and cheese meal at McDonald's over an entire year. Thank you for listening. I recommend this draft budget to the council.
Thank you, Councillor Lang. Councillor Peters?
Thank you. I too think this is a great budget. There's no secret, I hate budgets. And that's why I don't sit on corporate services. There's been a tremendous amount of work done in this, and I'm really pleased to see that the underlying figure for the car parks, which people were worried about, and rightly so, is 885, which is less than 74p a month on the council budget to give us control of the car parks. And I think that's quite an important point. But all the fundamental, that's all been covered. I'd just like to thank everyone that's involved, because there's a tremendous amount of work gone into this, and we are really keeping the precept down as low as we can under certain circumstances that were beyond our control. So I congratulate everybody involved and thank them for that hard work, because I couldn't do it.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon?
Thank you. Just like to propose a couple of amendments to the budget. The proposed contributions to reserves have increased from 75,957 to 135,957 for the year, which is an increase of only 25,000 of this. I think increases related to car parks. We're approaching the 100th anniversary of Dr. Alan Minns, the first black mayor in the country, and the 100th anniversary will be in 2030. I propose that we reallocate 5,000 contributions to reserve to a new create a lasting sculpture or memorial to Dr. Minns. This 5,000 can be put towards match funding from other sources to get the ball rolling. The decision won't impact the overall transfer to reserves, but would result in a new reserve pot of £5,000. Also, unlocking Thetford's potential delivery plan we've adopted as a council. One area we've not made progress on is the delivery of the heritage themed walks and talks. We've done great work as a council on Thetford's heritage. So I'd like to propose we allocate 5,000 of the reserve transfer towards a timetable of heritage walks and talks in the 26-27 financial year, so that we can continue to raise awareness of Thetford's heritage. This money can be used to get volunteers on board as heritage ambassadors and help training to be able to lead tours on behalf of the council. Transfer to reserves would go down accordingly to allow for this to happen.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Lightfoot. Are there any more questions or comments so far? Councillor Stewart.
Mainly a comment. Just to sort of rehash what I mentioned at corporate services this week. Last year, when we did we published the information regarding council tax and so on, the town clerk created this incredible document that was put out to the residents of Thetford, which explained what the breakdown and what exactly you get for your council tax. And I don't think a lot of people understand, a lot of residents see what's covered in your council tax, and how this council, not to toot our own horn, has stretched those pounds as far as they can go. We have brought so much in-house, and so many services that were previously sublet we have brought on to reduce the expenditure. There's been cost-cutting exercises everywhere, and that's due to the hard work of all councillors and an incredible amount of hard work from the staff. My request would be that we put out something similar again. I know the town clerk and deputy town clerk have already agreed to this at corporate services, but to push out another infographic which explains what you get for your council tax, how relatively small of an increase it is in comparison with the rest of Breckland, potentially, and what exactly you're going to get for your money. Because I think when people see that and they can equate it across the services we provide, I think they'll see this as a fantastic offering.
Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to point out the ambition that this council has had over the past few years. The ambition comes at a cost quite often, and you know our finances have been well and truly sorted by Alan. You know, thankfully, one of the most concerning issues that came up recently was the car parks. That could have really scuppered all our ambitious plans, and yet it's been well included within our finances. And I think the quarter pounder meal is a good analogy as to how much it's actually going to cost. I would also go as far as to say that once we've done that, we've also still got ambition to do further things, as Councillor Blackburn has mentioned, with Dr. Min's statue and those heritage walks. I think we should continue in the same vein, and I would be happy to second that proposal.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments so far? No? Oh, Councillor Jordan.
Yeah, thank you. Just a couple of points on the wider budget. I'm very happy to support the amendment. I think that's really important. I mean, Dr. Mims is one of our bits of heritage that we really don't talk enough about as a town. And if we don't talk about it, it's Thetford Town Council, given that he was a mayor, who will. So we do have a responsibility, I think. And given the 100th anniversary of his death is coming up in 2030, I think it is, you know, it takes a while to get these things going. So us putting aside a few quid to do that, I think is a really good idea. Just on car parks, I mean, truth be told, we don't exactly know what it's going to cost us as a town council to look after 10 car parks. There are some bits we know for sure, and some of it is guesswork, because at the moment, Bretton look after all of the car parks in the district, and there are economies of scale and contracts for big things, and car parks is, you know, just a small part of it. So we don't really know the exact cost, but what we do know is when we asked people in Thetford what they wanted, they absolutely wanted us to take on ownership of the car parks. They wanted the car parks to stay free, and they were happy to pay a bit more for it. So I think a 5% increase is reasonable. You only have to do the maths quite quickly. If you just use the car park a couple of times a year, that's value for money. Although I appreciate not everybody drives, but we all want a thriving town centre, and you get that by having free car parks. I look at other, some of them are considering charging. I mean, if Thetford is able to maintain 10 free to use car parks, what a, you know, further USP for the town, and that will help us significantly. It may be that after a year of looking after them, we realise that that 5% increase isn't sufficient, and we need to look again at the budget. But I would rather be cautious and not put too much cost onto people in one go. So I think 5% is reasonable. 4.99% for the overall council tax, again, is reasonable. Things do go up, unfortunately. Inflation's, we heard this week, gone down somewhat, but inflation still exists. And gas, electric and all the other costs that the council incurs will go up. There was a time when this council routinely didn't put its council tax up at all. And I think it ended up in problems because you've got to gradually increase to keep up with inflation, if nothing else. But there is an awful lot of good things. You look around Norfolk, you look around Suffolk, so many councils are constantly cutting back what they do. I mean, some town councils in Norfolk have had an interesting few months, shall we say. And actually, we're able to focus on delivering really good stuff. And some of those things have been mentioned today. But actually, I think Thetford Town Council, to its credit, continues to do lots of really good stuff, frankly. And the public are certainly starting to recognise it. There is one bit I wanted to push on a bit further, if I can. And that's the point on there around point E, the recruitment of an additional town team member. We've seen real progress this year in the town centre. We went silver first for Anglia and Bloom, silver gilt, and then finally this year we achieved gold. I mean, the town centre Floral displays look so much better now than they did, and the town centre just feels a bit cleaner. I've been having to go at post office this week about the boarded up post office, and they're going to look into whether they can take those boards down. And obviously we know we've got a fair few empty shops, but actually the town centre is cleaner, and that is important for people wanting to invest in the town centre and open up a shop. There's a real positive feel, and Castle Park is well maintained. King's House Gardens are improving, which is really positive. But what we don't have is our existing estates. When I walk around them, I continue to be frustrated. They look messy and untidy, and although that's not solely on, well, it's not anything to do with us as a town council, frankly. We are taking a leadership role, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to include the recruitment of an additional town team person that will specifically focus on those residential areas. I think that's really important. We've got to take pride in these communities. The bit we don't have is we don't have a budget for them to do anything. We're essentially budgeting for their time. But I would like us to put some money aside to enable them to pay for additional street furniture or additional signage or additional costs related to helping to improve those estates. So I'd like to propose that we allocate £10,000 from the transfer to reserves, reduce that by £10,000 to create an estate management fund for that team of staff to do the good work that we want them to do.
Thank you, Councillor Jean. Okay, so we have two proposals or two amendments to the general. Three amendments. Yes, okay. Any more comments from the table? Councillor Jean?
I'm just going to make one comment, if I may, which is I think you talked a lot about what we're doing as a town council, which is great. But I also think we should be praising, definitely grateful towards the Deputy Town Clerk and others for the fact we're also doing it very prudently. Even with the suggested amendments, we are putting a lot of money into reserves, and we're preparing for taking on the car parks fully. I'm really pleased we're planning ahead of that, so that any future council, then any future council know that there's a good pot of money, and we are looking carefully after our finances while also delivering. And I think that's a real strength we should be proud of.
There's been 2 amendments. So we have one with 5k for Yanni. There is only 10k for estate pension.
And 2 for Annie.
For Annie.
Yeah.
That means 5k.
And for Heritage Walks.
The Irish Walks, yes, you're right. Right. Colleagues, we have 3 amendments on the table at the moment to go through. So, capitulating, Councillor Blackburn suggested 5k allocated for a memorial of sorts for Alamines to celebrate this rounded date next year, and also Heritage Walks. Is that correct? Or is it another thing?
That's separate, another 5k.
Another 5k, sorry, I wasn't quite sure if it was a separate.
They're separate, yeah.
They're separate, so 5k for Alamines Memorial and 5k for Heritage Walks.
Yes,
Okay.
2 separate.
So that's the first 2 amendments proposed. Should we vote
All more together.
do them all together? Okay, that's really quick, but that's great. And we can Councillor Germ this shares the 10k from reserves to allocate some funds to the estate management, well, the estate management fund basically and block money. So the new person hired to look after the estates can have a little bit of pocket money to do something, to actually act on it. Is that correct? Okay. That's the 3 proposals. Should we vote on the amendments and are we all in agreement? Is there any more comments regarding this at all? No?
I'm happy to second that proposal.
So are we voting on 3 amendments? Are we all happy to go with all 3, approve all 3? Okay, that's great. So we have a proposal. Happy to propose. Stirp, second. We'll vote on it then. By show of hands. And that's the amendments approved. Thank you very much. And I think we still need to vote on the operational budget as a whole, including these amendments as well. Do we have a proposal? Councillor Land and a seconder. Gladly, all those in favour? Passed. Thank you very much. That's that bit done. Lovely. Okay. Next point, 325 standing orders is to amend standing orders, to agree on the amendments And I think those been circulated with the pack, prior to the meeting, agenda pack. Is there any comments on this point, Councillor Peters?
Yeah, I'm happy with the amendments, but I've noticed in the paragraph 19 with the handling staff matters, it actually says that the personal member of staff is being considered by a meeting of the Finance and Personnel Committee. Also mentioned, that's in A, and also mentioned in D, E, F. We don't have a personal finance committee, that's corporate services now.
Yeah.
So could we have that altered to reflect the current state, please?
Sort of rewrite it to fix in with it.
Yes, just it's semantics,
Okay,
but
noted, thank you. Any more comments? No? So should we then make pass to a vote for understanding orders?
Give it a prize.
It's got eagle eyes, it's on it. That's brilliant. We need eagle eyes in some of the points, it's always good. So we have a proposal for the setting orders in minutes. That's Councillor Peters, seconder, please. Councillor Land, all those in favor? Thank you. Right, and now we have exclusion of press and public. So to consider in the first one to the public of the Meetings Act 1960, the press and public be excluded for any remaining items of business on the ground of which will be public interest by reason of confidential nature of the business to be discussed. We happy to exclude? Yes, I'll take that as is. Thank you, Chairman Boone. Thank you very much for coming. Have a lovely evening. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you. That's the public thing for now. We have the meeting, Alan.
Can I just ask who's got to do these heritage walks? Is that you? Do these heritage walks?
What's that?
Who's got to do the heritage walks?